Okay, so here's the same information from the first quadrant in chart form. And again, it's just what you like, what works best for you. It was a little bit easier for me to look at these things vertically than to try to look around the circle, but the same pattern applies, and you don't have to memorize all of this information. So I would make a little chart where I've got my angle for the t value, and we'll be calling that input a lot of different things throughout this course, so don't get stuck on t. And I would put sine and cosine in my chart, and then I could use those values to figure out all the tangents. That's the way I usually do it. And I'm going to put the common angles from the first quadrant on my chart. So I'm going to put them both in degrees and radians. So pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, and pi over 2. And you do have to remember the starting point. So you want to remember that sine starts at 0. You want to remember that sine starts at 0 and ends up at 1. Cosine does the opposite. So it starts at 1, ends at 0. And then it's just that pattern that we talked about where denominators are 2, numerators are square root, and for sine, they're increasing. For cosine, they're decreasing. So I know that this first one's going to be 1 over 2, and then I got square root 2 over 2, and then square root 3 over 2. And then just the reverse for cosine. So decreasing, starting at square root 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, and then square root of 1 over 2, and then 0. That's a little bit easier for me personally to recreate. And I could do this every time I got an exam or had a problem I needed to solve where I needed to know these angles. As long as I knew where I was starting and I knew what the angles were, then I could just fill in the chart quickly and then refer to my chart as I solve the problem. So just another option.